I said that we know for a fact that that they're not one and the same. Let me prove that. Or sorry, that Vamoksha Chorus does not, because I used to think that the Vamoksha Chorus was a subcomponent of Saunchus Nation as well. But if we go to the Vimoksha Envoy, which this was the battleship from that same event, the description reads, led by the self-styled first set... Sorry. This Nightmare-class battleship is an envoy of the Vamoksha Chorus, a faction that is an offshoot from Saunchus Nation. The vessel appears on a mission connected with the Templars Dragnor staging facility and may be carrying out advanced technology... of some kind. Nirvana implants. Led by the self-stylized first citizen and paramount warlord Cornelius Sedek, the Vimoksha Chorus is a rare surviving faction from the time following the suppression of Sanchakawaki's nation by Concord-led coalition in YC-37. While many surviving remnants chose to heed the call of Sancha following his reappearance at the head of the nation in YC-112, Citizen Sedek declined to submerge his following back into the Kavaki's hold. No longer a true citizen of Sancha's nation, Cornelius Sedek remained committed to much of the nation's ideology, although it has taken a direction that may be considered extreme even by the standards of Sanchakawaki. So they're a radical offshoot of the nation, not beholden to Master Kavaki. Well, the Sanchas come from all over the place. Well, okay. So, excuse me. Okay. So, hopefully, most of you will get this analogy. If not, go play StarCraft. So, the Zerg is an alien species in StarCraft. And the Zerg have a hive mind capacity. But, well, the Protoss have telepathy to allow them to communicate with each other in their mind and kind of have a integrated hive mind kind of thing. The Zerg were more structured in their hive mind, in the fact that they have these overminds that control things that broadcast out to overlords, which then control the swarm. Okay? And when the overmind is destroyed, that sends the entire Zerg race into chaos. However, there is Kerrigan, who, spoiler alert, has been transformed into a Zerg, mostly because the Zerg have been trying to integrate psychic powers into their genome, and so they took over Kerrigan and made her into a Zerg. Well, with the fall of the Overmind, she became one of the strongest willed force within the Zerg, and proceeded to then go to the other lesser Overminds, and one by one either negotiate and get them to accept her leadership and fall under her hive mind, or she destroyed them and took over her people, that were the people that were under them, or the Zerg that were under them. Okay? So, the destruction of the Overmind is the removal of Sanchakawaki in YC-37, right? You have this hive mind that has a central authority, and now the central authority is gone. Okay? The nation themselves attempt to stay together in various cells and sects, remaining loyal to Master Kavaki, the philosophies of the nation, etc., etc. In YC-112, 2010, a figure emerges who calls himself Master Kavaki, and which would be the Kerrigan in this story, and most of the lesser Overminds, or cells of Saunchus Nation, opted to resussume themselves into the collective that is controlled by Master Kavaki. However, not everybody had to. So Cornelius Sedek continues to control a splinter organization that has so far refused to subsume themselves back into Master Kavaki's collective. Right, exactly. With the absence of Master Sancha, or Mr. Sancha, or Master Kavaki, another powerful a lesser lieutenant took over his cell and made them their own thing, and then refused to give back control. Basically, yeah. Does that make sense? Is that tracking? Another thing we can do is, when I say that, like, the Vamoksha Chorus shows up every once in a while in a very weird way, let me give you an example. Well, let me show you what I mean by that. Vimoksha. Make sure I can spell this right. Shucks. Hold on. Oops. I usually choose to believe that Sancha never died or he never lost control. I mean, he may not have ever died, but he hid at the very least. Vimoksha. What I'm saying, Vimoksha. Whatever. Oh, I see. Spelling. Right. So here are some news articles that refer to the Vamoksha Chorus. Now, it's worth noting. Hold on. Gragnor Blitz. Eve. Okay, so January 2020 was Gragnor Blitz. That was the first time that we had ever seen an actual person, place, or thing in game identified as being part of the Vamoksha Chorus, besides the True Deliverance skin that was released, that introduced us to the concept. However, for the year before that, we did get more information about the Vamoksha Chorus. In July of 2019, we have devastating raids on Store 4 federal colony attributed to Sanchas Nation splinter group Vamoksha Chorus. In August, we have attack on Marmia 4 colony confirmed as Vamoksha Chorus raid, thousands missing. What's interesting about these is, if I remember correctly, these were actual incursions. So what CCP did was say that incursion that just happened, that incursion was actually the Vamoksha Chorus, not Master Kavaki. Vamoksha Chorus assault on Chamun 3 mining colony, total destruction of settlement and thousands captured. Sanchas Nation splinter group Vamoksha Chorus raids Seshi 7 colony, repelled with heavy losses. And then attack on Seshi by Triglavian forces could be connected to Vamoksha Chorus raids, claim sources in Aegis. That's because directly after a Sancha incursion was a Triglavian invasion in the same location. So the idea was that the Triglavians were chasing down Sancha. Vamoksha Chorus raid reportedly strikes Easel 6 gas mining colony. Casualty numbers unknown. That is January 2020, so around the same time as the event. Vamoksha Chorus assault on Kabi 8 defended by Joint Ardeshpur Thucker Fleet, claims locals. And that's actually several months later. So then there is the news article that came out that involved the Vamoksha Chorus. Citizen Cornelius Sedek is in Taki originally, right? So the Concord Intelligence Directive Agency has described a new pact between two terror piracy groups as a clear threat to the security of New Eden. The CDIA has confirmed reports that the Templars Dragonars, an ultra-nationalist Caldari terrorist organization, has been identified as working with the Vamoksha Chorus, a pirate group that is a splinter faction of the Sanchez Nation. The CDIA assesses the two organizations are presently engaged in an exchange of military technology and armaments in an effort that can only make both of these dangerous and unpredictable terror groups even more of a threat than they already represent. Concord's DED has responded by distributing all location and tracking data on Templars Dragonars to the general security network of the empires and encouraged Capsuleers to join in fighting the new threat. Provost Marshal Kashia Valkanir of Concord's Aegis Division additionally commented, "We cannot allow this nascent threat between the two dangerous but relatively minor threats. This nascent alliance between the two dangerous but relatively minor threats to grow into a major new security crisis. The ongoing Triglavian invasions, the danger of the Drifter attacks and incursion by Sanchez Nation itself could only be harder to counter with yet another such threat on the scene. Templars Dragonars are an ultra-nationalist Caldari organization considered terrorist by most governments in New Eden. Once associated with Tibus Heth's provost government, they suffered a major blow when his regime fell in YC-115. It is believed that they maintain a large number of infiltrators and agents throughout the Caldari state and its megacorps. Led by the former Sanchez Nation warlord Cornelius Sedek, the Vimoksha Chorus is understood to have survived the suppression of Sanchez Nation by Concord-led coalition in YC-137. The Vimoksha Chorus operated as a pirate group for many decades before its recent escalation into planetary raiding. It is believed to still be an independent splinter faction at odds with Sancha Kavaki's nation." Is there anything here? PK and Interstellar bid for security and shipping franchise and Intaki system described as bizarre and insulting by Intaki Assembly. Woo! Man, precursors, the foreshadowing even then. I think that's it. Yep. That's it from here. So yeah, they're an interesting group. They're a group that was introduced right at the beginning of Invasions. So I feel like they're very clearly a artist protector. I think that's just because of the territory it was in. Any rate, so here's the thing. When Project Nova was canned and became whatever it is now, the lore developers knew that they had a couple of years to get things sorted for this new thing that they were changing it into, right? And so what we see is this major change in how they develop the lore and how they distribute the lore and the establishment of many more characters and places that allow them to like add more texture to the universe, right? So, and one of the ways that they introduce them is through these skins. They'll just introduce a new skin line that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's just a red Sanchez skin. But in the description, it introduces you to a new faction that they're going to slowly introduce us to over the course of the next couple of years. There's a couple of those kinds of organizations.